Story: The City of Serendipity. Chapter 1. Arrival. Sophia stepped off the train with a single suitcase in hand, her eyes wide with awe and trepidation. The city was unlike anything she had ever seen, a sprawling mosaic of shimmering glass towers, narrow cobblestone alleys, and vibrant marketplaces teeming with life. The scent of freshly baked bread mingled with the tang of sea air, and the hum of conversation in a dozen languages created a symphony that was both disorienting and exhilarating. Sophia was from a quiet village nestled in the mountains where life followed the predictable rhythm of the seasons. She had never ventured far from home until now, drawn to this city by a scholarship to study art at the prestigious Academy of Visual Design. But as she gazed at the labyrinth of streets and looming architecture, doubt crept into her heart. Would she find her place here? Chapter 2. A Meeting by Moonlight. That evening, Sophia wandered the streets, her sketchbook clutched tightly to her chest. She had meant to find her way back to her rented room, but the city had other plans. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the streets transformed into a dreamscape. Strings of lights illuminated market stalls, and performers played music that seemed to echo off the walls of the universe. Turning a corner, she found herself in a small square dominated by a grand fountain. A woman sat on its edge, her silver hair catching the moonlight like a halo. She was dressed in flowing fabrics that seemed to belong to another era. She looked up and smiled at Sophia. "Lost, are we?" the woman asked, her voice soft yet commanding. Sophia hesitated before nodding. "Don't worry," the woman said, gesturing to the space beside her. "Sit. This city always reveals itself to those who are willing to look." Chapter 3. The Hidden Studio. The woman introduced herself as Elara, a painter who had lived in the city for decades. Over the weeks that followed, Elara became both mentor and guide, showing Sophia corners of the city she would have never found on her own. A cafe hidden behind a bookstore where artists gathered to share ideas, a garden blooming atop an abandoned factory, and an underground gallery where the walls were alive with projection art. One day, Elara brought Sophia to her studio, a sunlit space filled with unfinished paintings and sculptures. "Here," she said, handing Sophia a canvas. "Create something. It doesn't have to be perfect, just honest." Sophia hesitated, then dipped her brush into a swirl of colours. The first stroke felt like releasing a breath she didn't know she had been holding. Chapter 4. Finding her voice. As the months passed, Sophia began to feel at home. She discovered her unique style, blending the rural landscapes of her childhood with the chaotic beauty of the city. Her work began to gain attention, and she was invited to display her pieces at a gallery. On opening night, Sophia stood in the corner, nervous but proud, as strangers admired her art. She spotted Elara among the crowd, giving her a small, approving nod. For the first time, Sophia felt like she truly belonged. Chapter 5. The City's Gift. Late that night, after the gallery had emptied, Sophia wandered the city once more. She found herself back at the fountain where she had first met Elara. To her surprise, the woman was there again, as though waiting for her. "This city has changed you," Elara said with a smile. "No," Sophia replied, her voice steady. "It revealed me." Elara's laugh was warm. "And now it is yours to shape, just as you shaped your art." Sophia stayed in the city, her story becoming part of its tapestry. And though she never saw Elara again, she often felt the older woman's presence in the colours of the sunset or the music drifting through the streets. The city had welcomed her, and she, in turn, had become its